to carry us. All right, everyone. We were late. I'm going to take full responsibility for Don being late. Everyone that does not know him, he's here. He's the man. He's the myth. He's the legend. He's one of the subscribers. He's one of the followers. He's one of the channels of the friend of the channel that always comes in strong, always with the big comments, always with the good information, always with the super chats helping out the kids.
It's the French Open.
And it's the
live
French
on
Open.
Tennis Channel.
My TV just
Watch
turned
the
on.
world's top stars battle in Paris.
All right, everyone, that's for the French Open. My TV just turned on. So I hit the wrong button. Big Don coming in the house, coming in strong. What's going on, my friend? How you doing?
Hey, you know what? I'm good. It's it's the slow time of the year, which means I'm not hearing anything from Cowboy fans. Surprisingly, but you'll hear the rumblings, you'll hear the rumors. We got the Admiral Mutombo already in the room. We got Chris for the love of MMA already in here saying smash the like button. I agree. Respect, fam. Let's go, Big Blue. We got Brandon also coming in here strong saying, Tim, how's everything going? Everything's going good. I was late. I was tired. It's the OTAs. And like Don was saying, it's the OTAs. It's not much going on. There's not much going on. You can get excited. You can get jacked up. Talking about jacked up, though. I hope you talked about that.
I'm going right into it. Talking about jacked up.
Yeah.
It is our old Mr. Bellinger. I met Mr. Bellinger at the draft party, and we posted the pictures of it. And I actually commented to him when we were talking to him that he looks like he's bigger. He looks physically bigger.
Yeah, more chiseled. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I love it because then you see this picture. You see this picture. He looks like me. I don't want to brag, but he looks like me. But for the love of God, we've gone 3 years in a row, and I think it was Pest the Analyst that put it up on Twitter. We've gone 3 years in a row now hearing how jacked Daniel Jones is, and that's going to make him a better quarterback. Now, I'm going to say this about Bellinger. Bellinger adding on muscle and strength can make him a better tight end, but it's not going to make him into Travis Kelce.
No, not at all. Have you seen Travis Kelce?
Yeah, he's not a
chiseled. He's not a chiseled guy at all.
I've seen his brother in person multitudes of times because I live near Philadelphia. Yeah. He's not a big guy either. But I will say this, Don. Get for a tight end, adding bulk, adding strength, adding mass, and for the fact that you are probably going to be designated the blocking tight end because Walla Waller can't block.
Right.
So yeah, I am actually okay with the lunacy. But come on.
I'll roll with this.
I'll roll with something. Give me something.
This is a little thinky here because I knew you were going to go into this. Like, I don't know why people are so surprised. Like, people do realize when you go from high school to college, you usually get bigger.
Right.
Because you're maturing. You go from college to the NFL or any pro league, you're supposed to get bigger, stronger, or faster because of the programs you're in. Like, it shouldn't be rocket science that you see a guy who was 190 coming into the league, then 2 years later, he's like 210, 220. And they're all like, oh, this is... I hope so. You're professionals who are paid for your nutrition. Like, the science of it all. You hope they get bigger. And if they don't, we might have a problem. So, I don't know. It's off-season, like you said.
That's a great point, though. This is your job. If my job was to be a rocket scientist, I would probably learn things about like aerodynamics and nuclear fusion and stuff like that. And I would continue my trade and I'd make myself better at that. So if you are a football, and this is not like I'm old. I've said this a billion times. I'm old. I remember the 70s. I remember the 80s. In the 80s, a lot of players had off-season jobs because they didn't make the amount of money they make now. I think the average salary is like 1.8 million or something like that in the league. I forget exactly what the number is, but they don't make the same amount of money they did back in the 80s. Now you make the money. You are now a football player 24/7.
Yeah. Well, now they have the off-season bonuses now. Like, right. You come in a certain way, you're getting paid for that now. So it's not like you're not getting paid.
You're getting paid
to work out now.
And I give Bellinger all the credit in the world, but because to add on that type of, I don't know if he's to add on the weight that he did and add. Now the question is going to be this: did he add on the weight? And I just reading Mike Lee's comment. Did we add on the weight? And is he going to lose any flexibility?
That was my next thing.
And because that's
tight end.
you add on mass and strength, sometimes you lose flexibility.
Or injury prone, like Rob Moore back in the day.
Oh God, dropping a Rob.
Or David Boston, when he bumped 220, he had all this heavy weight and his legs just gave out.
Yep. He went from looking like a wide receiver to a tight end in the wide receiver position. And he had that big year in not Carolina, with the Cardinals, and then he went over to San Diego, and it all just fell out. Let's see what we got. A couple things going in the chat here. Mr. Bruce says, "Hey Tim, just met an Eagles fan yesterday. He said it's so hard being him. I proceeded to throw up on his sneakers. Well, you made his day even harder." So, I do recommend though seeing Eagle fans throw up on their sneakers. I can't do that here because I'd be bulimic and I'd be like 67 pounds because everyone around me is an Eagle fan except for me. There's one lone house in the neighborhood with a giant flag hanging up, and that's just me. Admiral Matumbo says, OBJ trade for Big Dexty is a win for the G-men. I don't see it that they just traded. You have to look at the totality of the trade, the OBJ trade. Yeah. And you have to look at the pieces that we got in there. And while the Dexty, and I remember the trade, and while Dexty he's turned into a player that people thought he would be, Don. And I think that's the do I pick a win? Yeah, you got to pick a winner because OBJ is no longer on Cleveland.
He's not even playing right now. He's still rehabbing, isn't he?
He's still rehabbing. He's signed with Baltimore. He's a Raven now. But he's like I said, he's no longer on Cleveland, and Dex is still on this team, still the Giants, and he's playing extremely well. So, I got a big win. How's that?
We can see the potential when he was at Clemson. You're like, this is a big man Majama, but he has a quick first step. So you're like, but as we were saying, it was like he was injured when he was at Clemson. He had that ankle injury. So we knew his rookie year. You're like, well. A lot of people, I'm guessing, didn't know during his rookie year he wasn't going to be 100% because he was still hurt. So now we're starting to see the fruits of the labor because the big dispute was, why did we let Tomlinson go? And we're like, well, by letting him go, we gave the big contract to Big Cat, the king of the almost sack. And everybody started saying, well, what happened to Cat? Well, you let go of Thomason, you paid him all that. You let Cat get the money because he was what he always is, and he reverted back to it. He's a run-stuffing, almost sack defensive end. Congratulations. We're in a 3-4 where you need to hold your own and have to have 2 or 3 people on you. Everybody giving excuses to him. He was getting held. Blah, blah, blah. He's a defensive end making $20+ million, but he's saying, no, he's a nose/tackle guard who's playing defensive end that wanted defensive end Aaron Donald money.
Yep, he did. Zach Attack says, happy birthday to someone. Zach, I'm assuming that's you. Happy birthday. I'm assuming that's Zach Attack. Unless I'm missing someone else's birthday, I'm going to think that's the Zach Attack's birthday. So we'll wait in the comments to see if that really is Zach Attack's birthday before we start singing. Also, Mike Lee says, God help us all if Tim decides to be a rocket scientist. I could be a rocket scientist, man.
You got a Trenton hat on, so you're up. So you're technically all weathery. So
I got my Trenton Thunder hat on. I got everything going on. I could be a rocket scientist. We got Chris dropping in saying, "Good morning, Tim. Did Rob get a tan?" Hey, just kidding. I know Rob is celebrating the birth of his twins. Yes, for those who do not know, Rob R0B's wife just gave birth to their twins yesterday. I believe it was a boy.
Oh, congratulations.
I forget their names because I barely remember the names of my children. But you know what? I can't remember exactly who they are, but congratulations to Rob. And so I guess he'll be bouncing around. Let's see here. Zach Attack says, what do you think of Boomer Esiason? Boomer Esiason came out. I don't know if you saw this, Don. He came out this week and said that that Daniel Jones could have an off to a bad year because of the fact that the Giants did not go out and get him a primary number 1 wide receiver. And he thinks that it could spell trouble for his 2023 season.
So a primary number 1. Now it's interesting how, we're in a passing league as we've been for a few years now, right?
Yes.
And this word of a number 1, and some teams are lucky, they have a 1A 1B. Philadelphia, I hate to say the word, they have a good 1A, 1B.
But you have a lot of teams. I would say you have the majority of teams that do not have a 1A and 1B.
I agree. So when I hear a primary number one in this pass happy, I'm like, do you really need a primary number one? Can you not have 3 and a good tight end? You could do it, but like we always talk about, it predicates on the quarterback.
Right.
Like you said, a good quarterback will help a receiver become better. There is times where a receiver does bail out the quarterback. I mean, we've seen it with plenty of receivers.
Of course.
But a really good quarterback can make an average wide receiver borderline Pro Bowler. We've seen
this is what Boomer said. And of course, Boomer used to play for the Jets. Was a former MVP with the Eagles. He also, not the Eagles, the Bengals. He also went to the Super Bowl. He said he expects Daniel Jones to have a rough year. And he says, when you look at the list, it's not a great compared to the top 10 teams in the league. He was talking about the wide receivers, showing the Giants receiving corps. That's why they probably felt they had to pay Daniel Jones soon. And he said basically the fact that there wasn't enough around him to make him a number one guy. And he says the chances that he takes his leap without a true number one this year basically are not going to be very good. He says, I think Daniel is going to have another rough year in terms of having to do it all. They're paying him to do a lot to be able to fit around wide receivers. I don't see it. And to the point of Boomer, you are paying the kid $40 million. Well, technically, if you break down the entire totality of the contract, it'd be an average of 40. It's 32 average the first 2 years, which are all guaranteed, but you are paying this guy top 10 quarterback money. And I understand to Boomer's point, but to my point is this, to your point, a good quarterback makes his wide receivers better, not the other way around. Yes, a great wide receiver will have a symbiotic relationship with a quarterback, and they'll excel. But a good quarterback should make the players. Tom Brady for years, and that's what I love about it. People play with garbage. Went to 2 Super Bowls with garbage wide receivers, and won. Everyone goes back to the end of his career with Deion Branch and Randy Moss and Gronk and Aaron, Hernandez and everyone else. No, but people forget about the first couple of years. And then you go to places like when, we had teams like Tampa and Baltimore when they won, they had terrible offenses and the wide receiver was bad, but the defense was great. So the problem is the Giants, I hope the Giants, I think there's a misconception at times about the Giants defense last year because the Giants defense last year ranked 29th out of 32.
Yeah.
So there's a big jump. And there's going to be a necessity of a jump. And everyone talks about how the Giants' pass defense was better than the run defense. But here's the problem. Teams didn't throw. They just ran because of the fact they knew they could run on the Giants. So that's why their pass defense was better because of the fact that if you're throwing less and running more, one of them is going to balance out. But I think Daniel, I agree and I disagree with Boomer. I think Daniel Jones has to have a good year. I think he has to have a step it up year. And I think he has to have the talent. He has to make the talent around him better. You spent the draft capital, went out and get Waller. You drafted Wan'Dale Robinson last year. Of course, he's probably not going to come in towards the middle of the season. You re-signed Darius Slayton. You re-signed Sterling Shepard. You brought in Jalen Hyatt, Paris Campbell, Jeff Smith, Jamison Crowder. You went out and got John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt. You got all these people around him to have a better offense. And for someone to sit there and say, well, he's going to have a down year because they didn't get him a D-Hop. And like I said, I like Boomer. I like Boomer because I think Boomer's pretty honest. But I think he's kind of off base on this. I think if anything, Daniel Jones needs to step up to the next level, be the quarterback that makes the players around him better.
I agree. I mean, here's my thing. I haven't even heard this yet, but I've heard this of a couple quarterbacks. I've yet to hear he's a leader of men. Now, we know what that concept means because he says all the right things. He's the face of the franchise. He'll say the right things. He won't bring his teammates down. He doesn't really show that emotion. But I haven't heard from the grapevine that he's a leader of men. The one there, your team's down, do you trust them? If the defense is doing what they do, does he go over talk to them, get them nice and ready for the next play? What is his aura doing for the team concept? Because at the end of the day, we might not like it. Jalen Hurts is a leader of men. I hate to say it, but He's a leader amongst men.
I've said this. I've said that about, and I think the Giants. I mean, I do think the teammates like him. I don't think there's any. There's a difference between being liked and being a leader. And like I said, I've said that's about Jalen Hurts, and you can like it or hate me or dislike me because what I say about this, but you could see from the moment that Jalen Hurts came in as a rookie, and even when he played in limited situations, you could see that the team rallied around him. The team would pick him up when he, especially last year, he would strive to make his teammates better. And people say, well, he had AJ Brown and he also had, Devontae Smith, but also you have to get him the ball.
Yep.
So and he threw the ball deep quite extensively, but his teammates would rally around him. You watch him when he gets sacked, you would see an offensive lineman, and maybe it's because he's only 4'9", but you would see the offensive lineman picking him up, kind of picking him up, shaking him off. You would see these things, and you would see that they rallied around each other. I'm not saying Daniel Jones doesn't have that. I'm not saying Daniel Jones is not going to have that. I'm going to say, to your point, there are certain quarterbacks that are true leaders. And sometimes when you have less talent, but you have the willingness of the players around you to believe in you, that makes you a better quarterback. And I'm not saying he does. I'm not saying Daniel Jones doesn't have that, but I'm just saying, to Boomer's point, I think Jalen Hurts makes the players around him better, even when they're these guys. And I love it because of the fact that people are like, well, if Jalen got hurt, the Eagles would still be fine. Well, they put in Gardner Minshew for a bunch of games and they lost.
Yeah, we see how that went. There was a nice little gap.
Yes, there was a gap. And I like Minshew, but I don't know if the talent, I don't think there's much of a discrepancy in talent between the two, because they each do a little bit something different, but it's just one of those things that you saw the offense just kind of wilt when Jalen Hurts was not there.
Agreed. I mean, the ink is dry on the contract now, so it's either put up or shut up for him, because like I said, he has 2 guaranteed years basically to do what he needs to do. And Shane, Dabo, Kafka, Wink, not really Wink, sorry, Wink's on the defensive side, but those 3 are tied together at this point now with DJ. No matter sink or swim, they're tied to that they're tied to the next legacy, unless some miracle, because we rarely ever see this, that a GM gets to restart again on the same team after proclaiming the next Messiah or the next great QB they're supposed to have. It's so rare. We'll rarely see that.
It's going to be different. Let's get to a couple of these. I got to get the super chat from the Zach Attacks. All super chats go to the Philadelphia Children's Hospital. Do you think Saquon Barkley will play on the tag, or will the Giants sign him to a long-term deal before the July 15th deadline? I think unless the Giants want flexibility, and I'm going to get to you, D Kit. I see you, and I see your stupidity, and I'm going to get to you in a minute. I may get to you. I may get to you, and I may not get to you, because I'm in one of those moods today. I think the Giants are going to let him play off the tag, unless they're going to need cap flexibility. I don't think they're gonna budge on the contract, because at this point in time, why would you budge on the contract when you're already getting into June? And there's some kind of discrepancy, Don, between the guaranteed money. A lot of people don't know this, and I said this would come out like it did with Lamar Jackson. When Lamar Jackson was negotiating his contract early on, they offered him a deal, and people were like, well, he should have took the deal. He was stupid. He didn't take the deal. Then Lamar got sick of it and said, listen, this is what they offered me. There's no guaranteed money after like the first year. It turns out that Saquon's contract they offered him, there was really only the first year was guaranteed, and the second year was like partially guaranteed. So there seems to be an argument over what seems to be holding up everything is the guaranteed portion of this contract. And unless the Giants need cap flexibility, Zach, I'm sitting there and I'm thinking to myself, why would you do this? Because you already basically said you don't think he's worth more than 10 million, because while the number looks $12-13 million, but if you have a $40 million contract and only 13 of it's guaranteed, you got a $13 million contract.
Yeah. You know how it is with the whole Saquon situation, because everybody's like,
for words.
I was for a second. I had to take him like, well, because everybody's talking about the backups, Brea.
Matt Breida, and you got Bright.
I forgot about our 5th rounder. Who's going to be the next Ahmad Bradshaw. We can't forget about that now. He's going to do exactly what he does, except we can't let him get near out of bounds because he'll run out of it. So I don't know how we're going to do that.
He runs out of bounds.
I don't know how we do that.
He runs out of bounds. Let's run through some of these. We had a lot of chats here. Jose G, what's up, Jose? Jose, can you see that? And that is why Joe isn't trying to restructure Leo's contract and sign him. He drafted 2 young defensive tackles in the last 2 years. That's true. Leonard Williams is not going to be back. Leonard Williams is gone next year.
That contract.
The contract was an albatross. It's time to move on. Christopher Lemma, Dom the man is at it again. The OBB Santa Claus, good man. Dom always comes in and save us. It came in and helped save the draft stream because I couldn't be there in time. So I called up to Big Don and I said, listen, you have to be on the draft stream. If you're not, I'm gonna work off today again. What's that?
Took work off today for you. I took off today for you.
Well,
I was like, hey, I can't come in. They're like, okay, see what I'm doing for you, Tim.
I got important stuff to do. I got to talk to Tim, and don't forget
important stuff to do.
Don't forget the like button on that as well. What we got? The Admiral Matumbo says, does McKinney has all the tools to be the cornerstone part of the future? What skill set is he known for? You know what's funny with Xavier McKinney? Xavier McKinney has improved each year. Each year that he's played with the Giants, he's starting to show a little bit more of a ball hawking capability, a turnover capability last year. He is a good free safety in my mind. He is an excellent defender. He knows how to play the run. He doesn't get himself out of position as much, as he did early on in his career. I expect if there is a player that I think is going to take another exponential leap, I think it's going to be Xavier McKinney. Now, the problem with McKinney is he's on a 4-year contract with no 5th-year option. So
yeah, that's what we do when we get those second rounders in there. We don't get that guaranteed 5th year. So I mean, with Wink, like I said, he's been getting better every year. And if he didn't do that that accident, he could even played himself even more money by that time.
Yeah, the accident is the thing that I don't like talking about. The ATV accident. I don't like talking about that. I'm just going to pretend that didn't happen. Moet Olson says, good morning, Tim. I see Bellinger and Waller together on the field a lot this year. Yeah, it's going to have to be because Waller can't block. So, I mean, it's not every people have certain skill sets. Waller's skill set is to be the athletic pass catching tight end. He's not a Mark Bavaro who can block and be that weapon. He's more of I hate to say it. Some people hold your ears because I'm going to say a dirty word, 2 dirty words. He has more Evan Ingram in him than anything else. But I think, he's got more talent than Evan Ingram, but that's the kind of tight end he is. And you're going to need a big, strong tight end that maybe put on a lot of weight and muscle to go there and do the blocking. And I think that's where we're going to have to see. We got Gigas Man in here saying, what do we got here saying? I think more so the importance is the receiver is Waller staying healthy. I agree. I think Waller staying healthy. I think Paris Campbell staying healthy. Because he's only stayed 1 year healthy out of 4. I think Darius Slayton staying on the field. I think Shepard's going to be a goner at the end of the year. I don't think
he's more or less for moral support at this point.
I think he's going to be gone. Wandale's probably not coming more towards the middle of the year. I expect a lot of things out of Jalen. I said the thing about Jalen Hyatt. If Jalen Hyatt only has 36 receptions, but then he averages, I don't know, let's say, and it's not feasible. Let's say he averages 17 yards a catch.
Oh, that's a win. That's easily a win.
That's 600. Let's say he had 4 touchdowns. That's 37 receptions, over 600 yards, 4 touchdowns. I think that's a bonus. I think that is a successful season. But the problem is the Giants are going to have to run we've said it a million times, the vertical offense. We're going to have to run the vertical offense.
That's a bad word, Tim. With that quarterback, we can't use that V word anymore.
You see him in practice, man. You see him against the all cone team.
You mean the underwear Olympics? I mean the Olympic trials, I should say. Yeah, he was amazing.
There's not much to talk about as a content creator, so I give people a lot of shit for it, and I'm going to be 100% honest. I don't really do a lot of videos. I mean, I do one a week, maybe not if even that, because there's nothing to talk about. I like it. I like the underwear Olympics. We got the big OGR Sports. What's going on with you?
Hey, OGR.
Do you need a 1A and 1B, or would you like 2A, 2B, 2C, 2D, and 1 tight end? That's a good question. I would take 2A, 2B, 2C, 2D, and 1 tight end. I would take that.
That's production. If one doesn't work out, that's production you still have from other people.
That is production. I like that. Jose also says Patrick had one of his best years last year without Hill. So no number one wide receiver is necessary. Let's stop making. That's a great point. I mentioned this before. Patrick Mahomes, we had Juju Schuster. Yep. He had the kid from Rutgers, the running back.
Sky Moore.
Sky Moore. He had Kadarius Toney. He did not have the the John Stallworth, Lynn Swan, wide receiver combination, the Jerry Rice, John Taylor. He didn't have those guys, and he did. He won a Super Bowl. And he did it with a good defense, not a great defense. Mr. Jones says, Mr. Jones, I don't think he'll need a number one wide receiver this season. I think the double tight end set with Bellinger and Waller are going to open up a lot of the field. I think if you have Waller run down the field, Don, I think if you have him stretch the middle of the field, I've said this before, it's going to open up one-on-one coverage on either Slayton, potentially Barkley out of the backfield, at Hyatt. I always forget about Hodgkins, Isaiah.
I forgot about that kid.
You always forget. No one else forgets. I forget about him because he came in at the end of the year and played. Let me see what he does for full 17 weeks before I start anointing him, the next great wide receiver for the Giants.
But I'm glad you made a point right there that I think it went over people's heads. You said Barkley.
Yes. Barkley needs
this two tight end set is technically going to be predicated if Barkley plays.
Yes,
because
but I'm talking about these tight ends set in reference to Barkley in two regards. I'm talking about the tight end set reference to Barkley is we need to start using Barkley out of the backfield again,
like he did his rookie year.
We need to turn around and do what he did that rookie season, where he had 91. People forget Saquon Barkley had 91 receptions for 720 yards and 4 touchdowns that rookie season. And he dropped down to 52. Then, of course, he had the injury. And then he was at 41 and 57 again. We need to get him. The idea is get Saquon the ball in space. If you have Waller down the middle of the field and you either draw in the safety or the linebacker, or you have the safety and the linebacker trying to cover Waller, who normally covers out the backfield? What position normally covers the running back out of the backfield, Don?
The middle linebacker.
Right, the middle linebacker. But if you have the middle linebacker and with over-the-top safety help to cover Waller, you should have Saquon Barkley's ass parked in. I am Kafka. I am taking number 26. I'm going to do like they used to in the old days when I played. They grab you by the face mask and pull you and say, I want you to stand right here on every passing play. That's where I want you to be, right here in the middle of the field, because if nothing is available on the outside, I'm having this kid dump the ball off to you. Now,
it's funny that you said that his rookie year. Tim, who was this quarterback his rookie year again?
Well, it was, there's some kid named Manning.
Oh, it's interesting that you said that, because that rookie year that quarterback had command of the line and the huddle, and he had command of changing plays. A lot of people don't talk about our new QB being able to be flexible to change on the fly.
He's not new. We're going to have him for half a decade now. He's not new. He's not new. But no, I do agree, and we've talked about this in the past, Don, that Eli Manning knew, and it's also because he was in the league for 12 years at that point in time. He knew where to put Saquon positionally to have him be successful. He understood his line shift. He understood how to check out of plays, how to change assignments. And so, yes, he put when Daniel Jones came in 19, even though he had the injury for those couple games, Saquon Barkley's best games were with Daniel Jones at quarterback. Not Daniel Jones, with Eli Manning at quarterback, because he understands, and again, you're in the league for 14 years. You should be better than a rookie.
But didn't the prodigal child go to his camps? Like, what was the point of going to the camps? Just for throwing the ball, not for breaking down film? Like, I don't understand. What's the point of going to these elite baby Eli and Peyton camps if you're not breaking down film or anything?
This is even worse, because we've actually gone into. I don't watch read comics or anything, but I know Superman had the Bizarro world where everything was reversed.
Yeah,
I seem to be defending Daniel Jones. We've gone to the Bizarro world.
Apparently, people sometimes. Sorry, Tim. So,
we've gone to bizarro land here. That Tim is defending Daniel Jones. We got Big James in the chat saying, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit the like button. It's only at 20 likes. What's up, Big James? Talked to Big James the other day. It was a good talk. Zach says, I think wide receivers will catch the ball and will cross the middle. All wide receivers that left Tom Brady and Eli Manning didn't have long careers either. We've talked about that. We name wide receivers that left the Giants after Eli Manning, during Eli Manning's tenure. None of them excelled. And we talk about how in the reverse, we have wide receivers who excelled outside the league that came here and died under Daniel Jones. So, but we're not going to get back into that. We're not going to get back. We got a lot to get through here. We got Big James bringing in the good morning to you. We also have Timmer. Let's see here. We got DCAT. Giants defense was subpar last year. It was. They were 29th ranked. We had issues against the run. We got Big Stu coming in there saying, what's up, Tim? Good morning. We got Mike Lee coming in. What's up here, Mike? Well, my mouse is going crazy. Drive me crazy. DJ should be thanking Mahomes and others elite quarterbacks setting the mark, and the DJ's walking around in their wake to get the contract he got. It was one made out of fear more than DJ earning it. Do you think the DJ signing was out of fear?
No way. It couldn't be, especially since we knew, I almost said Kafka, since we knew Shane was going to every darn college game imaginable during that time. Like, we talked about this before, Tim. We know he was going to be at Tennessee, and he said he felt high at speed. But we also knew in the back of the head, Shine probably was probably like, man, Malik Hooker would probably look nice with a salsa. Speculation, I don't know, but it would be a good sign. I don't know anything. It would be nice if that would have happened, but it didn't. It's the past, blah, blah, blah. But no, fear can't be. But I will say, owner has been known to sprinkle in a little bit of Thorton when it comes to certain things. So I don't know. Speculation.
A little bit. Let's see. Guilty saying DJ needs to have a $40 million years. I agree with that. D-Kid said we have plenty of guys to have a competent passing offense. I actually agree with that. Until we get to the D-Cat doing stupid comments down here in a minute. Admiral Matumbo says, of course, everyone knows I promoted the captain to Admiral. We are overrating Wheaton. Reasons people go undrafted. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I hope the Wheaton kid does well. But I mean, Don, you go back a bunch of years. We had these guys that came in wide receiver wise, all the ones from Ohio State that came in and they were like, oh my God, these guys are such a great OTA.
It was like three of them, I recall. One was like 6'6", or something like that.
and everyone put all these high expectations on. None of them even made the roster.
I've seen Wheaton play, and it's all up here. Like I've said before, he's one of those guys that he lets the noise get to him, and he's in the New York media.
Goes to West Virginia, and Zach Attack, he sent me pictures of where he sits. He has a awesome view of watching players, and he talked about the one game where they had the loss where he had the big drop, and he said the crowd noise got to him. And I take Zach's opinion because, like I said, Zach has seen this kid play. He's seen this kid play in person. Like I said, he may have the physical talents, but the problem is it's the overhype. I think a lot of times that I just like da freaking Rican. I love that one. The media will find any reason to throw the Giants under the bus. I don't think that's the case. I think a lot of times people are overhyping the Giants in their own community, and that's fine because that's what fans do. Let's see. What has Todd said? They're already setting up excuses for him. Wait until one or two wide receivers misses times. They'll claim they got hurt and they didn't have help. I always refer back to Phil Simms. Phil Simms in 1986. Bobby Johnson, Lionel Emanuel, Mark Bavaro, Tony Galbraith out of the backfield. And Tony Galbraith was about 497 years old when he came over from Minnesota. I believe Byron Williams was still on that team. At one point in time, you had Dave Hasselback or Dan Hasselback, the tight end that we had him for a little while. He had nobodies. He had nobody at wide receiver. Lionel Manuel had 1,000 yard season for the Giants. Bobby Johnson was out of the league 2 years later. You know, it's you make the players around you better.
Yeah.
That's Phil McConkey. I mean, Phil McConkey, 27-year-old rookie out of Navy. Now, he wasn't a rookie that year, but I don't know. Like you make the good quarterback makes the players around them better. Chris says, "Hey Tim, it's been a few weeks. Had to catch the live streaming." Well, Chris, we missed you, pal. Here's where you lost me. What does Mr. Rodriguez says? I mean, you can't ignore Richie James and Hodgkins' overperformance. I think Hodgkins can be the real deal, but looking at what he had, the kind of did help her perform around. I've said this before. You had a lot of injuries last year, Don, and I'm not saying Isaiah's not going to come in and have a good year, but I've said this a million times before. When you have injuries, when you are either on a bad team or a good team with injuries, somebody still needs to make the plays.
Yep.
It doesn't mean you're good. It just means you are there to throw. You have to be there for someone because someone has to make the catches. Someone has to make the tackles.
So then the question will go, will he be able to build on what happened last year? Because like I said, we don't know what's happening behind closed doors. The Underwear Olympics don't really help us out of anything. The preseason got cut down.
Olympics.
The preseason got cut down, so we really don't even get to see as much action from the third, fourth, fifth strings like we used to in the past. Now they're using that extra game. The first 4 weeks now are basically preseason games, and that's why we don't hype it up anymore. Like, oh, if they go 0-4, people aren't panicking like they used to, because they're like, well, they kind of are just now getting the rhythm. But don't go 0-4. But you see where I'm going with that. Don't go 0-4, Giants. Please don't. But
no, let's not. And make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you get 20 likes. We only had 20 likes. That's gross, man. We had 70 some people at 1 point. 20 likes. Come on. Chris says he thinks that Barkley's going to pay him the tag. D-Kid, this is where you're an idiot. He says Jalen had 16 touchdowns and 9 receptions before Brown's arrival. Here's where I'm going to blow your mind, D-Kid, because sometimes people just 2021, he threw the ball 432 times. 2022, with the injuries, he threw the ball 460 times. He only threw the ball 28 times more. Only had little over 560 yards more between 2021 and 2022, and only had 6 touchdowns more. So it's not like he made this exponential leap. He went from 16 and 9 with 3,144 to 3,722, and his interception ratio went up. Boom. No more talking to you. Wolf says, hey Wolfie, what's up, man? What's up, Tim? Finally caught another live stream. Love the Trenton Thunder hat. Wish it was still the Yankees AA team. People forget the Trenton Thunder used to be the Boston team. It used to be for the Boston Red Sox.
I'm sorry, Tim. The hat. I can't roll with the hat, Tim.
I love the Trenton Thunder, man. I love I grew
Syracuse up Mets now, apparently, because we're affiliated with the Mets now. So Syracuse Mets. It was the Chiefs.
I'm a Met fan too, but the Trenton Thunder had been in Trenton for years. I mean, I was there in their inaugural season. My father was one of the first persons to get season tickets. I mean, it's when I grew up around. I always tell people I grew up in the old Meadowlands. That's where I spent my childhood. And same with Trenton Thunder Stadium. I went there alone, dropped off at 13 years old with my friends and said, hey, go hang out and go watch the Thunder game. We'll pick you up in the front, whenever, at 6:00. So
it's funny that you said that. That happened to me too when Syracuse were the Sky, got dropped off with my baseball pals back in the day. I'm feeling my age now, Tim. Back in the day, PNC Stadium. Go watch them play. But I was really mad they never ever became the affiliate of the Yankees. I was like, how? We got the Washington Nationals, great, whatever, and now we're the Mets. I'm like, man, just nothing. No.
Chris says, what a bunch of double talking nonsense. I'm not saying he sucks. I'm just saying he sucks. I'm not saying Chris. I'm not going to explain myself because you're fucking. I'm not going to explain.
I'm confused with that.
I don't. I was laughing because I was telling James I was watching Forrest Gump the other day. So I was out with some friends. So I was doing Forrest Gump all day long. So all I can read is that comment and go, stupid does, Mr. Blue. So we're not even going to talk about that. Mr. Albert says Jones ain't a leader. I've never seen him rally the team around him after a bad drive. He just sits there on the sidelines like a good little soldier. He's not a leader. He's just a good yes man. People forget that Dable on occasions early in the season went over and yelled at Dave Jones for doing not intelligent things on the field with the football. People
forget. Duke guy. He's supposed to be intelligent. He's a Duke guy.
Listen, I know some people that went to Stanford and they're fucking idiots. So I mean, I'm not going to say I'm not going to say what college is. Let's see here. What's up, No Filter League? No Filter League is also the giant YouTubers from Ireland. If you don't know them, go over to the No Filter League. They were on the show last week, so go say hi. Zach says that makes a lot of sense. Everything I say makes sense. It's the Skyline. What's up, Skyline? Good morning, all. What's up? Richard says, I like McKinney, but he was better 2 seasons ago than he was last year, even before the injury. He still future hope. Actually, I think he played better last year up till the injury. So I'm gonna agree to disagree with you on that one. I think he was having a better season. Because I go to all the games, Don. Everyone knows I go to all the games. And there is a difference between watching on TV and watching games from where I sit. And I'm lucky enough. Normally I sit within like the 15th row, dead center on the 50-yard line. So I'm a lucky fan that I get to watch these things. And it's a thing with Dane Belton. Dane Belton, everyone says, why is Dane Belton not playing? Why is Dane Belton not playing? Dane Belton basically barely played a hiccup in the Texan game. And the problem was this. You don't see what happens on television with Dane Belton. Dane Belton was out of assignment and out of position multitudes of time in that Texan games, even when he got on the field. And there was other games before that he was not playing where he was not playing his assignment because you could see men wide open. It was just you have to thank God we had the dangerous David Mills and Justin Fields at one point being the quarterback, or we would have lost those 2 games. So he was playing he was not where he needed to be, which is why Wink did not trust him, which is why Wink did not play him. McKinney played a lot more because if you watch McKinney play, while he may have not been making the tackle at the point of attack, he was holding his position and holding his assignment, which allowed somebody else to make that tackle because the play wasn't going to his side because he was doing his job. And I think he did that better in 2022 than he did in 2021.
Well, I hope he digested a lot of film because even players said Wink's defense is complicated. Like we look at it, we see it, we're like, oh, it looks pretty black and white. It's like, no, it's a lot of stunts, it's a lot of fakes, it's a lot of zone, it's a lot of blitzing, it's a lot of man, it's a lot of press coverage. Like I said, when you're on the field, you get to watch it because I only get to watch us play when they come down, to play against Dallas, and I always sit up high so I can see the whole field of what's happening. Like that defense is complicated, and if you're not getting your assignments, like you said, you can blow up a whole assignment. Like this, if a defensive back messes up, could be a touchdown.
Yep.
If somebody misses a sack, it's okay. But it's always the secondary that could be always one throw away from a touchdown.
They always say this: if you're not making the tackle, but your name is not called for doing something wrong, then you played well. Then you played your assignment. Because that's the truth. D-Kid says, you could say Waller can't block? And how do you know this? I don't know. The entire league says it.
Did nobody see nobody watch the Raiders play before?
Raiders play before? You're going in timeout because you're stupid.
Nothing. Like if you notice, I was gonna say, Tim, if you noticed when Josh Jacobs actually got the ball to run, it was all his big runs were basically in the middle, were from the guard to center. It was really rarely on a Waller side. Like
I know. I love this one by Richard. Waller's a better blocking tight end than Evan Ingram, at least. Okay, that's saying like trash smells better than garbage. Yeah, I mean that's not saying much. But that's why I put lol after. We got OG Knockout. What's up, Tim? Tim, it's about Daniel Jones. To me, if he sucks, we suck. Hopefully this year he can turn it around. I've said this before, Don. If Daniel Jones does, this season is the Daniel Jones season.
It is. All eyes on him.
And that's why I love when people say, well, you don't like him, you hate him, you're a hater. No, I just point out facts. And I said it in the Minnesota game, in the Minnesota playoff game. I said it before the game. I did a video about it. I said, good or bad, right or wrong and indifferent, you just have to have Daniel Jones throw the ball. And I said, I don't care what the outcome is. Said you have to have him just throw because that defense is the 32nd ranked or 31st ranked defense against the pass. You have to just chuck the ball no matter what. And people forget I did that video, but and then people forget about that. But I give him credit when he does something good. I give him shit when he does something bad. I went up to him during the event.
Yeah. I remember seeing that live.
I am one of your biggest critics in social media. Told him face to face. Because I'm not going to shy away from it. I love when people say, when you see these players, you're never going to say anything. Oh, really? Have you ever met me?
Hey, like they say, Tim, facts don't have feelings. Don't care for your feelings.
That's it. Facts. I like that. Facts don't have feelings. It's true. It's true. But this is the Daniel Jones season. The 2023, if the Giants are going to exceed, if the Giants are going to excel, it is going to be because of, or if they succeed, it's going to be because of Daniel Jones. If they fail, it's going to be because of Daniel Jones.
Yep. Sink or swim.
That's it. You can love him, you can hate him, and you could do anything about it. But that's the problem. That's what this is going to be. And you could take whatever way I take it, but I'm just telling you, we're 17 minutes behind on these chats. I got to get these chats in. Mike Lee says, but Tim, who was a quarterback most of Barkley's first season? Yeah, that was a long time ago. Pete says, since Barkley rookie season his drop rate has been not good. Okay, here we go. I'm not even going to read the rest of the comment here, Pete.
There's no need. Yeah,
I'm not even going to read the rest of the comment because I'm just gonna.
Didn't he get hurt on one of those accurate
on 2 bad Daniel Jones passes?
Oh, I'm sorry.
And the one pass that everyone talks about that he should have had was the pass that was thrown behind him as he was falling down backwards. Mr. Albert. I think Saquon's sitting out the season. I'm showing the team the same respect they're showing me. I don't think he's gonna sit out, but I see what you're saying.
Yeah, he's a competitor. I don't think he would either. He, like we said, he's a competitor. He's hurt. He still tries to go out there. It's not in his blood to just sit around for that.
Get a cool T-shirt. I think this is a cool T-shirt. Hold on, can I? This is those that do not know. I'm doing I have a little thing going on with Black Rifle Coffee, a little side bet going on here that they told me I can't wear a Black Rifle shirt 30 days in a row. And here we go. I'm going to throw this down here. So I'm going to put this on Black Rifle. Here's my Black Rifle shirt right now for the day. This is day number 10. This is day number 10 of the Black Rifle T-shirt challenge. So there you go. I'm gonna post that on whatever it's called, Twitter.
Oh well, I guess I'll just throw mine up for a little bit.
Oh wait, you wearing a Black Rifle shirt? Oh, awesome. I thought you had a Black Rifle shirt on. I was getting like, wow. I said, there you go, man. I was like, you know what? Don's now my new co-host because he's got a Black Rifle shirt on.
Well, no, there's one I pass by a Black Rifle coffee shop I go past every day to work.
Yeah, I love Black Rifle Coffee, and not just because I'm trying to get them to partner with the channel. I've been trying to get them to partner with the channel for I don't know how many years now. But we do have wonderful partners. We have Mint Mobile. We have Aura Internet Security. And for those that do not know, go to mintmobile.com/bigblue. You can actually get wireless service for 3 months for $45 with unlimited internet just to try out the service. No transition fee, no switching fee, none of that crap. Just go in, get the SIM card, you plug it in, it goes right over your phone. Freaking awesome, man. I have so many Mint Mobile phones now, it's not even funny. Really not even funny. In some ways it should be funny. No, Pete, I'm not talking to you. Is it Pete that I wasn't talking to?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Don told me to put you in timeout.
Get nothing.
You lose. We're bringing the Wonka.
Good day, sir.
All right. We're bringing the Wonka here. We got Jose G also says they signed Jones because they knew that they didn't have a chance at a top quarterback in this year's draft. You could always trade it up if you really wanted to. I mean, you also had some guys I think that dropped in below the radar that came in. I mean, Will Levis. Will Levis evidently looks terrible with the Titans.
Oh, the mayonnaise man.
he looks. One of my biggest concerns about Will Levis was the fact that he did seem to be inaccurate at Kentucky. And people kept telling me, well, it's going to be like the Josh Allen inaccuracy. It's going to be like, everyone hit the damn like button when you walk in. We had 23 likes. I don't have to keep telling you this. You're adults.
Yeah, we need more likes. I'm looking at the numbers here. It don't add up.
Oh, I like this one though. Wheaton is a Ramsey Barton, but Ramsey got drafted by the Giants. So Wheaton, if Wheaton fails, it's okay. Oh, we got the big L doing L. What's up, Tim? What's up, Don? Ain't nothing like a Sunday OBB live stream. The big L is going with me on Tuesday. We are going to the New York Giants rookie meet and greet dinner. We saw how well everything went when I went to the town hall. What could possibly go wrong? There's actually another. I have to get it from James. There's another video of me at the town hall asking the question, and evidently the cat calls from the audience were much worse. than I thought. And I love it because I always tell people are like, well, they knew who you were. I'm like, no, they had no idea what the fuck I was. They had no idea. But I do think, and some people that were there were like, no, Tim, some people in the audience knew who you were. He's like, because there was one guy in the audience saying you're an a-hole, Tim. I was like, oh, okay, well, if they call you by your name, then they might know who you, some people in the audience might know who you are. But James is going to send me that video, and I'm going to post a short of it. So I think that's going to be fun. But we are going to go to the rookie meet and greet dinner, which is going to be a lot of fun. Again, I'm very excited that I'm able to attend this event. So I'm not going to do streaming or anything, but I will take some pictures and I will post them when I meet the Jingleheimer, Schmidt, and Hyatt and everyone else that's there. So it's going to be fun. Isaiah is going to have 1,000 yards easily. I don't know if Jones is being facetious or sarcastic on that one, so I'm not going to say anything.
Playing Madden? What?
He might be mad. I played. I posted on Twitter yesterday. I'm old, so I actually found my Sega Dreamcast, and I played the original NFL 2K.
Great game. Great game.
I played the original one, version 1. And I actually posted a play where Kerry Collins hits Amani Toomer over the shoulder for a 60-yard touchdown. So go on online Big Blue and